Welcome to Inside Out Leadership. I'm your host, Robb Holman. Now, some of you might already know this, but I am on a personal mission to interview 12 of the greatest inside out leaders on the planet in 2021. These extraordinary leaders come from business, sports, politics, and entertainment who have faithfully demonstrated inspiration, humility, courage, perseverance, and servant leadership. As a result, they're leaving a ripple effect upon the world to affect future generations. I am so jazzed up that today my guest is none other than the great Cy Wakeman. For those of you that don't know Cy is a drama researcher, global thought leader, and New York Times best-selling author who's recognized for cultivating a counterintuitive, reality-based approach to leadership. Deemed the secret weapon to restoring sanity to the workplace, she's helped companies such as Google, Facebook, Uber, NASA, and countless others learn to navigate our rapidly changing world using good mental processes to harness energy wasted in workplace drama and reinvest that effort into achieving profound business results. Cy was voted in the top 100 leadership professionals to follow on Twitter for 7 years. You heard it right, 7 years in a row. And in 2021, she topped the Global Gurus list of top 30 leadership professionals across the globe, coming in at number 1. Hold tight. We'll be right back. Cy Wakeman, welcome to Inside Out Leadership. What's going on?
Not much. I'm so glad to be here. What an intro. I didn't realize I was in a top 12. That's awesome. What a great mission. It's an awesome mission.
Don't you love it? Hey, I got to ask you, I didn't put it in your bio, but I'll mention it now. Kind of a fun fact for Cy that some people that don't know you, and perhaps some that already do know you and have been blown away by your thought-provoking work for years, is you're a mom of 4 boys, if I have it right. A bit of a fun fact. So I got to ask you this, because I've never asked you this before, Cy, and we've known each other for a few years now. And I consider you a friend. I really do. And you've been such an inspiration in my life personally. And you talk about the inside out leadership movement. You just keep putting fuel on the fire. So for that, I applaud you and say thanks. But I got to ask you, in the times that we live in, especially, right, these COVID times and everything, what's it like being a mom of 4 boys?
Gosh, best adventure ever. Yeah. Seriously. It's like I gave birth to like 4 of my biggest fans. They're kind, loving, peaceful, fiercely loyal to their mama. So, to always have that inside track on people that, are on your side, they're your humans, has been amazing. And now that they're over 21, like I have these playmates. We go on great adventures. We summited Kilimanjaro right before COVID. We've got a trip planned to Machu Picchu. But during COVID, my boys are pretty amazing. We formed a pod very quickly. My team did too. CDC is one of our clients. We listened closely. And it's been a time where they've been my nucleus. So it's been
what would they say? Let's say I rallied these boys together and I said, hey, boys, what would you say about your mama? Like, what's a characteristic? What's an attribute? What would they agree on about mom?
Oh my gosh. I'm not sure there would be agreement. I think that they would tell you that I'm very big-hearted and very kind and not controlling and supportive, and maybe have erred in not being enough of a controlling force in their life. They would tell you it's been a wild ride. They have worked together and they've been so fiercely independent. My oldest has almost helped raise these brothers because I was in a career where I traveled and I was a single mom and, just really needed to band together and get through it. So I think they would tell you, I know they'd tell you they're proud of me and that I'm there for them. A lot of people don't know it, but I'm kind of a homebody. I love cooking. I love sewing. I love decorating houses. I love nature, outdoor time. So I'm not sure what else they would say. I don't want to be at my funeral because I'm sure they will have amazing stories.
Well, no, that's the reason you're getting a taste, and you know me well enough, but you're getting a taste of inside out leadership, especially this podcast, because We could talk all day long about your accolades, and you have many, many of them. The books that you've written, the New York Times bestsellers, just the reality-based leadership that you founded, the company, the organization, the content behind it, which is just so impactful for leaders all over the world. But what we love doing is kind of looking under the hood of your car, so to speak. Yeah. So people get to know Cy maybe in a slightly different way. So as they now come across and experience your work, it makes a whole lot more sense at the end.
I love it. And I think they would say I really live by the principles. You know, my new book that's coming out in the spring is called Life's Messy, Live Happy. And we've been through some very hard things in our lives, the boys and I. And yet we've been able to not maintain a fake happiness, but maintain a way to walk through the world that just, you love what is. And I think they would say that they were never afraid to call me because they were really greeted with no judging, just helping. Like, we're human beings, we all this human condition, we make choices, we do the best we can with what we have. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But let's contemplate that. Let's learn from it. But when the chips are down, we're there. We're there for each other.
Love it. Hashtag proud mom for sure.
Yeah, proud mom.
The boys are proud. You're proud mom too, which wow. So here's where I want to go. Okay. So you even mentioned life has been far from perfect within your family. You got the four boys. You all have experienced so much in your time together for years now.
Yes.
I know for my family growing up, for those of you that don't know a little bit about what I'm about to share with you, but I'd love to get your thoughts on this as it relates to your life. My life has been far from drama. I mean, growing up, older brother, younger sister, I'm the middle child. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a sensitive kid. You know, I still am a sensitive person. My parents got divorced when I was in high school. It had an effect on me. So our family, namely the family growing up, my brother, sister, mom, and dad, we don't know a whole lot of life outside of drama. But now I've learned things over the years, how to cope. I've gone to a therapist, all these different things. Your life has been far from drama too. Have there been any milestone moments along the way? Like, oh my goodness, yeah, we experienced this together as a family, and this was really unique. It was tough. And take us into that. You could a little bit more general if you want to get specific to help our audience, that's okay too. But I know no person listening, no leaders without challenge, trial, tribulation. It's acknowledging some things about it and then navigating through it in a healthy manner that really matters a whole lot. So for you, what's that look like?
Yeah. And I would say for leaders to evolve, the piece that we keep out of leadership development is personal development. And it's been frustrating to me because somewhere way back when we separated out, oh, that's personal, that's like therapy, and don't bring it into the workplace. But there is no way you can develop as a leader, but you cannot evolve as a leader until you really go back to points of origin. When did you first feel this way? When did this first happen to you? What was your first family like? And really start to not just self-reflect in the day to change your behavior, but contemplate what's a theme like for me. So I was 6 of 7 kids, and my parents were both entrepreneurs. So we had kind of binge and bust. Grew up in a very small town. And by the time I got to the family, it was pretty chaotic. There were a lot of needs. I don't think my parents were coping well. My 13 and 14-year-old sister were kind of charged with being the babysitters, a job they did not want. They were not looking for any kids. And they were unkind many, many times. They were just so angry about, being charged with these responsibilities. And I learned very quickly, my kind of key themes, I learned that don't bring any new needs to the table. Like, it's best not to have any needs. Don't add one more piece of stress to this family. And where that got me to succeed is I just really denied my own needs. I became a real peacekeeper, a people pleaser. But I also had a level of wisdom where I remember being about 4 years old going, these people are near the edge. Right. And all of the suffering is completely optional. None of this is happening. It's just their story about what's happening. I mean, I didn't have those exact words, but I just remember this is not real. And no one needs to be this upset. We could all just be happy. We could all just be nice. And my parents divorced, and my high school years. And, and I finally found a way, that's what we do. People regret some of the decisions that they make growing up, but usually our souls will find a way to take care of ourselves and to get out of situations. We'll self-sabotage, or we'll, run, or we'll, fight. But I found a way for good girls to kind of run away from home, because I was really conflicted. I didn't want to cause anyone any problems, but I wanted the heck out of there. And so I became a foreign exchange student. I remember seeing the poster for Youth for Understanding, and they're like, "Do you want to go away for a year?" I'm like, "Heck yeah.
I'm in.
I don't care where." So I went to Germany for a year, but there's lots of key points in my life. And I write about a lot of that in the book, and how we continue to end up in situations with similar teachers until we learn how to really integrate. And I am finding, especially during times of COVID, the number one thing I'm preaching about is leaders are not helping people integrate and make sense of their experiences. Mm-hmm. We are going through so much. We go through so much in life. Unless you do therapy, which, I started out as a counselor, people don't integrate or make sense of their experiences. They live through it and hope it never happens again, and it will. Yeah. And they outsource their emotional well-being to the external world. Right. I'll have a good day if X, Y, and Z, happens or doesn't happen. And, I think the pandemic really showed a lot of us, like, what is your relationship with uncertainty? What is your relationship with solitude? What have your habits and dedications been, and has that lifestyle been supportive to move skillfully through tough things? Can you do hard things? And I think so much has been revealed to us, the state of, racism, not just in our nation, but worldwide. Like, so much has been revealed to us that people are confusing being exhausted or traumatized with the opportunity to be evolved. And so what I'm asking people, I'm like, don't, emerge from this evolved, not traumatized. Do your work. Let this thing change you. Yeah. And so many people want to return back to normal, or they wish for a different future. But there's this small space between an unpreferred reality and a different future. And it's a tiny space, and that's where we occupy. And our choices connect what is to what will be. And most people aren't stepping into that.
Yeah. So this is a real life situation. Yesterday, I found myself at a memorial service. A close friend, someone I've been mentoring for years, and his mom died of COVID. And literally, it's like a switch went on. She was rushed to the emergency room a few weeks ago, and she just thought she had a cold. It began to materialize, and before you knew it, she was hooked up to ventilator, et cetera. I mean, just horrific set of circumstances. The reason why I bring that up is yesterday I'm at this memorial service, and the family, close friends, everyone's gathered. It's part of the grieving process. Okay. What have you found? But yet the pastor, the leader, the facilitator of our time was encouraging us, celebrate the life. We're here to grieve, but we're here to celebrate, honor her by sharing of stories, by telling certain things, coming in at different angles that will honor her, help us in the grieving process. Would you speak for a moment? Like, that memorial service, I think, is reflective of so many different teams in this COVID kind of a time, where so many people and team members are grieving and may not even fully realize it. A lot's coming out. A lot of drama can even come out in that grieving process. But at the same time, we're told we should celebrate, find maybe a higher perspective on the situation. And their lives, for so many team members, so many leaders, a tension of trying to come to terms with certain things in the grieving process, but yet looking for the good and celebrating the present moment. Can you take us into how do we navigate through that tension in the here and now?
Sure. One of the things I find humans really unskilled at is grieving. And there's a lot of ways that then the inability to really just embrace and grieve and feel creates drama. So the ego wants you to stay externally connected. The ego really wants you to connect to your title and your identity. And if you're feeling anxious, and instead of going inside your body to feel it, which is embodying, using breath to dissipate feelings, to just feel them and they dissipate. The ego wants to keep you out of body And so in ego, people that are toggled down often will take something like anxiety. They'll wake up in the morning and they'll go, I'm feeling a little anxious. And they intellectualize it immediately into a grievance. And so much of what people are doing right now is intellectualizing what they're feeling into venting, into grievances, focused at another. And what happens in those feelings is that we get very polarized, and people believe I'm either grieving or celebrating, like it's part of duality. And part of maturing, part of evolving as a human being is getting a grasp on impermanence, welcoming what comes and letting go what leaves, like not trying to control, but also transcending polarity or duality and really understanding that many things can be true at once. So what I try and do, like even just on a meeting, is I ask people list 2 things that you're feeling, 2 ways that you're feeling. And I do this because they'll say like devastated and grateful. Right. And I want to help people understand that a great leader can hold space for all of it. And it doesn't need to be like, I'm uncomfortable with your sadness, so let's celebrate. It's not with motive. It's not to force us someplace. It's to take a moment to love what is. And so I can be heartbroken and so grateful and have such fond memories and be in total despair all at once. And the really great word in there is like, and. But what most people do when they're starting to grieve is they try and impact or fix. And it's like those Chinese toys that we had when we were little kids, they were like woven, and you put your fingers.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So what most people do, because we're so into leading and impacting and, is even if your relationship's falling apart, instead of feeling that sadness, we start to overfunction and fix it. And we just pull. And what I tell people often is stop everything and just grieve. They're like, I don't know why. And I've tried and it won't happen. And I at this, David White, one of my favorite poets, said, what we need to do right now is any conversation that's exhausting, just end it and begin a new conversation. Yeah. And I think right now we're in so many exhausting conversations we're unwilling to end. And beginning the new conversation is about hope, and it is about how can we take things further. So I'm working with a lot of people on grief. Right now we're in what Pauline Boss calls ambiguous grief, which was first discovered, she first did the research with the Department of Defense. It was first discovered, or she came up with the term, when somebody's like missing in action. So they're gone physically, but we have no closure. Or if somebody has dementia, they're here physically, but they're, gone. And how do we deal with ambiguous grief, which is grief that doesn't have an ending, or grief that doesn't have like an obvious, so like a death we mark with a funeral, but most divorces, people don't mark with anything. Sure. And so the key to ambiguous grief is for the leader not to assume anything. And so somebody says, I was recently divorced. You don't automatically go, good for you. He was a really nasty person. Yeah. You ask, what meaning does that have for you?
So
what
good.
What sense are you making of that? So that the job is to let them self-reflect, which you all know is the ultimate drama diffuser, self-reflect, go inside and get practiced at naming things. And I'll just say one last thing and I'll get you back.
No, this is so good. Yeah.
So many people, to avoid grief, name things too soon. They judge. So they go, oh, they're trying to pull one over, or they're, they died of COVID. Well, they probably were anti-vax. We want to name things too soon. Our ego does, to keep us from feeling. And so I want people to stay curious and not name things, ask people. But I do want people to name things, and it's this: go sit with your grief until it tells you its name. Sit with your anger until it tells you its name. When's the first time you felt like this? Go way back to the point that you felt this for the first time, and see what happened to that little kid, and watch it from the eyes of an adult, and make some commitments. Because what we're often doing is we abandon ourselves to not be abandoned, and then we blame the world for not giving us what we need. And it's our job now as an adult to give us what we need. But
this is so good. So I got to follow up to that now. So we've oftentimes heard this throughout the years, everyone grieves differently. So is it a one size fits all? What have you found through your experience, through your research on maybe some nice, healthy channels to grieve? Because
Yeah.
it probably depends on personality type, upbringing, a variety of different things, right? Learned behaviors, etc. But like, if people are listening to this and they're like, I get you, Cy, like, if they're taking a deep breath in, like, but I don't know how. Like, I think I'm grieving, but am I really? What advice would you give them?
So, and I do think everyone grieves differently, and yet there's an undercurrent of commonality with all grief. There's not really stages anymore. We don't see it really as linear. I would tell you the number one way people avoid grief is they stay busy. They do not give themselves alone time and silence, solitude. And even a lot of people are like, I'm alone, I go for a run. And it's like well, that's really healthy and awesome. It may not be solitude because you're still kind of fighting your way through something. But it could be for somebody, a great walk could be where they get everything out. I know on my walks, on the beach, I have, grieved tremendously over the last couple of years, but I would say to take time without motive. And if nothing happens, nothing happens, but sit in a chair 10 minutes a day alone in silence. And alone, not with somebody right outside the door, not with somebody that could interrupt you anytime, so that you can go behind the armor we all wear. And just notice, a lot of people write morning pages where they get up and they just freelance write. We are able to touch our feelings with breath work, with meditation work, with journaling work, some habit or dedication that works for you.
Yeah.
I also, that just stop and grieve. When you are pushing hard and life is not responding well, stop. Just stop and grieve. Stop and take a break. And I just I ask people how they feel, and people I learned during COVID, I've gone clear back to like the basics. They don't know how they feel. They're like, I'm thinking this is screwed up. I'm like, not a feeling. Right. Feelings, have two syllables. They're like mad, sad, glad, scared. If you get into like frustrated, you're getting pretty intellectual. And so just helping people have a vernacular. The other thing that happens for folks when they do grieve is they really quickly want somebody else to be responsible for it. So it's tricky at work, because at work it's like, I'm grieving, so therefore I can't perform today. It's like, no, as adults, we need to be able to process our own feelings, feel all of our feelings, and to evolve and develop the skills necessary to move through the world skillfully. And so what we're seeing out there is just a lot of people who have completely outsourced their emotional well-being.
Sure.
And I had somebody say, I'm not going to go back to work until it's totally safe. I'm like, well, it sounds like you're never going back to work. I don't know when it's going to be totally safe. And I'm like, so what are some ways you could impact your own safety? Well, they won't provide, they haven't thought about like how we're all going to use the elevator. And I'm like, well, you're ambulatory. Could it be a plan for yourself to use the stairs on a regular basis?
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but I shouldn't have to go back until it's totally safe. And I don't know if people understood before COVID, there was flesh-eating virus. There was Ebola, like
a lot of things out there, a lot of things.
It's like so many things. And so we have this pre-COVID attached the illusion that we're all safe, or that we had confidence, or we knew our world. No, we did not have certainty pre-COVID. We had the illusion of certainty. And I just think this is a huge opportunity for us to all get called up and evolved. But I'm worried not many are taking the opportunity.
Well said. And I'll tell you, those listening too, with Cy's boys being far older than my 3 kids, I will be coming to her with words of wisdom for many years to come. And so, Cy, our time sadly has come to an end. But before that, because I can listen to you all day, you know that. But what's next for you? You got to take us into, you'd mentioned a book coming out.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some more details on that, or any exciting things you have going on?
Sure. Over this year, we've done a lot of virtual coaching. Our business, our keynote slowed down, but we've been out helping folks. We focus a lot on the true definition of resiliency, which isn't heroics and readiness and those types of things. So we're doing some really exciting work pieces. I wrote over COVID a book called Life's Messy, Live Happy. Life doesn't have to be perfect for you to be content. On all these topics we just talked about, lots of personal stories. It comes out end of March, beginning of April. There'll be a pre-order campaign. And so, yeah, I am, writing, teaching, preaching, and on a mission to help people understand how their mind works and understand how the world works. So they stop getting played by their ego and they stop arguing with reality. And so I really think this next chapter could be the time of great mental health crisis, or the time of the human race really opening up to our own human condition and exploring that internal world that we all have been avoiding through work.
You have a way about you. I've never said this explicitly. I'm going to say it now publicly. You just have a way about you. So many speakers, so many people with wonderful content, as they deliver it, as they share it, it's from the mind to mind. You have this amazing ability because of who you are. You engage the mind, you let it sink into the heart. And then literally, Cy, it's like a heart-to-heart conversation. In the midst of that, sometimes it's like, you just need to do this, and here's the reason why. Like, just do it. You need to stop, and you need to start doing that. But other times, you really deeply and empathetically, you understand, and you're in the trenches and navigate in and through that space and that place. So I just want to say thank you for the gift that you are to me and so many leaders and so many people all around the world. Tremendous gift. If people want to learn more about you, where should they go? What's the website?
So any place at Cy Wakeman on social media. And my podcast is called No Ego, and realitybasedleadership.com is where they can find us.
Awesome. Well, listen, I want to say thank you again for being with us. Our time has come to an end, but you know what? I could talk to you about a variety of different topics, but as many people have said over time, that once you understand your core, you never stray too far from it. And you know your core, and you're helping serve people relating to that core. So thanks so much for being on the podcast today, being on the show. And I look forward to the next time for sure.
Thanks, Rob.
You bet. You bet. Well, I also want to thank not only Cy for joining with us, but everyone that has taken time out of their busy schedules. You could be anytime, any place, but you've chosen right here, right now to be with us. So I don't take that for granted one bit. I also want to say thank you to auto conversion. I've been using auto conversion since 2017. Yes, 2017, over 4 years, helping me create and implement my PR and marketing strategy. So if you want some help in your PR and marketing strategy, digital media campaign, etc., please go to autoconversion.net and you'll be so happy you did just that. In addition, and I want to leave you with this, that I do have a Get Paid to Speak, a world-class speaker community. If you are an aspiring speaker or a seasoned speaker and you're looking to be in the trenches with other people that are like-minded, like-hearted, to help you get paid what you're worth to speak, you're going to want to join with us. Go to robholman.com/GPS to begin your Get Paid to Speak journey today. Official closing of the time. I love what Cy said when she said, you can embrace difficulty and you can also embrace a celebration. They don't have to be different. They don't have to be one world's over here and one world's over, two sides of the same coin. That's one of my takeaways among many others today is you can embrace both at the same time and learn how to be a present human being and a present leader. So what are we waiting for? Let's have at it. For Cy Wakeman, my name is Robb Holman, the host of Inside Out Leadership. I'm thrilled and honored you joined with us today. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.